Morning.
Morning. Bonnie Anderson, 4929 Fish Lake Road. Congress shall make no law abridging the freedom of speech or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. This is a quote from the First Amendment of the United States, of the Constitution of the United States of America. Those of us who have steadfastly pursued grievances in the matter of the 6464 Friedenberg Lake Road extractive use permit have found ourselves not only repeatedly presenting documents of the facts concerning the errant approval of this cup, but now we must apparently defend our right to do so. Congress shall make no law abridging the freedom of speech. The word abridge means to reduce, diminish, decrease, or the right of the people to petition the government for a redress of grievances. The word redress means to remedy, to set right an undesirable or unfair situation. Nowhere in the First Amendment does it suggest there is a time limit or frequency that a grievance can be submitted. Indeed, the First Amendment indicates just the opposite. And yet, an attempt is being made by a member of this board to not only limit our freedom of speech, but seemingly to eliminate it altogether. During the November 29, 2022 commissioners meeting, this commissioner stated, "We should never stop people from coming in front of the board. However, I can no longer stand by and continue to hear the lies, the innuendos, the attacks on our department director. This board still needs to take some action. If you have something new to bring this board, that is a tremendous use of our time. But for them to come forward in front of the board on a weekly basis and attempt to intimidate and bully this board into positions that this board clearly is not in is causing issues that we have to take some accountability for. And that is to say that somehow our response to these individuals has to be heard loud and clear. We need to open up our meetings to other people who'd love to come forward, but that are also intimidated and aren't going to come forward after the hurling of accusations by a number of individuals. So we have a responsibility to all the people of this county, not just 3 or 4 individuals. I'm hoping this board will start to act on that. I am hopeful that we as a board take certain steps to assure other individuals have opportunity to address our board and not have to be intimidated by individuals that come forward hurling what are very much unfounded accusations at this body and our staff. When we encourage this type of activity, we are attacking our own staff. And I can tell you that attacking our staff is probably the worst thing we could do as a board. And allowing others to attack it is probably the second worst. As this board is already aware, 5 minutes is allowed for anyone and everyone who wishes to address this board on matters not on the agenda. Anyone, no matter how many times or what grievance they are addressing. In offering proof of every grievance, we have never lied, as we have been accused of doing by this commissioner. And we have only used innuendo while observing the policy of this board in not addressing a commissioner by name. If any member of this board or audience is either persuaded or upset by our arguments, that is not intimidation or bullying. And petitioning the county for a redress of our grievances is not an attack. We have only ever given you facts, even though the First Amendment also broadly protects opinions. This quoted commissioner evidently only has opinions and unverified intimations, as he is unable to refute the facts we present. Consequently, he seems left with attempting to reduce or eliminate our freedom of speech. In closing, I will once more quote this commissioner from a county commissioners meeting several years ago. He said, "My job is to represent the people in my district. It is not to impose upon them my will. That is a totalitarian state. Last I saw, we still live in a democracy." Yes, we do still live in a democracy, and part of its foundation is freedom of speech and the right to petition the government for a redress of grievances, even if that petitioning is uncomfortable or perceived as an attack.
Thank you. Bruce, do you have, there's a couple minutes left here. Oh, you're good. Okay. Next up, we have Jonathan. Jonathan, now is this an item not on the board agenda or is it on the committee of the whole? Is it?
I think it might be on the committee as a whole, because I was informed that today was a day a decision was going to be made on that.
Oh, is it a cancellation of contracts for purchase?
Yeah.
Okay, so can we have you, we'll have you speak at the committee of the whole if that's okay?
Sure.
Right.
When would that be?
I think the meeting's gonna go probably in a half hour, but yeah.
So today?
Yes.
In a different location?
Yeah,
Okay.
or it'll be right here.
Oh.
Yep. Thank you. Next up, we have Melissa Bell.
Good morning.
Morning.
Melissa Bell. I live at 6382 Beaver River Road. I did give you guys some documents to look through as I speak. So as always, I'm here to discuss the extractive use permit that was granted at 6464 Freedom Lake Road and is required to be null and void by the county's own zoning ordinance. I'd be very interested to know how much time and money the county spent ensuring zoning ordinance 62 is not being complied with. It's like a game is being played. Find the loopholes, paperless inspections, blame it on the 60-day law. Only give me the data requested with exact wording, so it's give me as little data as possible. I'd like to review some correspondence from employees of the county. I'm sure this is just a small amount of the correspondence regarding the situation, but that I was able to acquire via data requests. First, Exhibit 46. On October 14th, 2020, the Director of Planning and Community Development emails the Deputy Director of Planning and Community Development, the Planning Manager of the Land Department, the Deputy Administrator, and a County Attorney saying, yes, let's discuss Friedenberg Township. I'm going to put it first in the agenda. Second, Exhibit 47, October 16th, 2020. The Planning Manager emails the Director. I'll summarize. So I'm summarizing what she said. In regard to the citizens of Friedenberg request, I think we could send a letter with the pertinent documents to the gravel pit owner-operator in question stating that it has come to our attention that their pit may not be in compliance. Then it is on the owner-operator and not necessarily us to prove that they are in compliance. We've handled situations like this in the past in similar fashion. Wow. Third, Exhibit 48. On October 19th, 2020, Todd Koneski, owner of Lake Trucking, emails the planning manager saying, I'm sure you are aware of the complaints against our McKeever pit operation. Could you please call me soon so we can discuss this issue? A WebEx meeting was set up that same day, almost at that same hour, to include the director, the planning manager, the deputy administrator, and a county attorney. Fourth, Exhibit 53, December 18th, 2020. The planning manager lists multiple violations. She even states, or potential violations, she even states a site visit would be necessary to verify slope. There are a few points here that really bother me. The biggest issue I have is Exhibit 47. Talk about questionable and unequal treatment. Exhibit 53 even discusses potential violations and acknowledges that a site inspection would be necessary to verify slopes. And a meeting with the owner of Lake Trucking, our group should have never got that. With an attorney, you guys even got them. That's great for them. Let's review Article 8, Section 2, Enforcement, A, Investigations. The director shall use his or her discretion to investigate violations of this ordinance, notify the owner of violations, and direct the property owner to correct violations within a reasonable period of time. And if compliance is not obtained within a reasonable period of time, such report shall report such violations to the county attorney. Article 8, Section D, or 2D, compliance orders. Compliance orders shall be issued when the Planning and Community Development Department has probable cause that activity regulated by this ordinance or any other county ordinance is being or has been conducted without a permit or is in violation. When reading Article 8, Section 2, enforcement, it seems pretty clear to me that Exhibit H shows a violation of the zoning ordinance by the Director of Planning and Community Development. This was all done, the letters I read were in 2020. Yet it's 2023 and no site inspection has happened to the Lakehead pits. What does the county consider a reasonable amount of time? I have so much more to show you. The evidence is extremely clear that Lakehead was given and is still being given special protection by the county. What is it going to take for one of you commissioners to stand up and be brave? To demand for an investigation, an external investigation. Like we've said, these are facts, and we were not treated fairly in any way, shape, or form. And I would like you to be bold and to speak up, even if you don't think you might win that vote. Speak up, because you know what happened was wrong. Thank you.